Las Vegas, Nevada, June 12, 2019, 02:46 a.m. Federal auditors arrived for routine compliance verification at the Palisade Resort and Casino. Inside the vault, $8.4 million were missing from the regulatory ledger. Security footage showed no breach. No alarms had triggered. Surveillance logs recorded normal operations through the night shift. The audit server displayed one overwritten entry, timestamp 02:46:47, duration 3 seconds. No backup existed for that moment. Security log, June 12th, 02:46 a.m. System sync complete. No anomalies detected. Investigators would later trace it back to one overlooked detail buried in the network architecture. So how did a mid-level cashier erase millions from a federal ledger without leaving his seat? Before we dive into the unbelievable story of a casino cashier named Dean Whitaker, who exploited a 30-second gap in the system, rewrote $8.4 million out of the ledger, fooled an FBI audit, and vanished without leaving a footprint, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. Comment below where you're watching from. And tell me, would you have noticed the quiet man behind the cage who was cleaning up more than chips? Dean Whitaker had worked cage operations at the Palisade Resort and Casino for 11 years, age 38. Former community college accounting instructor turned casino employee. Quiet, methodical, invisible to management. His gray cubicle existence had stretched across 4 presidential administrations. Same desk, same procedures, same invisible routine. Dean's motivation wasn't poverty or desperation. He earned $68,000 annually plus comprehensive benefits. He owned a modest 2-bedroom condo in Henderson, Nevada. Mortgage payments current, no gambling addiction, no substance abuse, no family crisis requiring emergency funds. His credit score remained excellent. His savings account contained $47,000. The catalyst came during a February 18th afternoon shift. A sophisticated phone scammer had called the casino main line, impersonating a Federal Gaming Commission inspector. The caller possessed detailed knowledge of internal procedures. He demanded immediate wire transfers to verify new compliance protocols. Dean watched cashier Rita Valdez almost fall for the elaborate script before supervisor Victor Langford intervened at the last moment. That evening, Dean obtained a copy of the incident report through routine security briefings. The scammer had exploited specific procedural gaps, precise moments when casino systems trusted human judgment over automated verification protocols. The sophistication impressed Dean more than it alarmed him. If someone could manipulate trained casino personnel so easily, what vulnerabilities existed in the digital systems themselves? Dean began analyzing the Palisade's audit architecture during off hours. He discovered the internal data chain. Cage terminals transmitted to count room servers every 90 seconds. Count room servers compiled batches every 6 minutes. The central audit database exported regulatory reports every 4 hours to federal monitoring gateways. Each transfer point created temporary vulnerabilities. The critical flaw emerged during a March network maintenance window. The surveillance system operated on Pacific Standard Time for local coordination. The audit server used Coordinated Universal Time for federal compliance. The 8-hour offset created brief but exploitable synchronization gaps during automated backup cycles. Case file 21843B. Subject began accessing technical documentation outside normal work hours. IT logs show 47 after-hours queries. Dean realized the casino's millions weren't protected by armed guards or reinforced vaults. They were protected by timing protocols and digital synchronization. During his methodical analysis, he discovered that backup procedures suspended verification checksums for exactly 47 seconds every night. This window occurred during federal audit system synchronization. Dean's personality underwent subtle transformation after the discovery. Colleagues noticed increased confidence in technical discussions. He volunteered for additional cybersecurity training seminars. He began studying network architecture documentation during lunch breaks. The crushing boredom that had defined his 11-year career transformed into focused intellectual curiosity. But Dean's motivation remained rooted in ego and intellectual vanity, not financial desperation. He wanted to prove his analytical intelligence could overcome institutional security systems designed by teams of specialists. The technical challenge excited him far more than the potential monetary gain. The money was simply a way to keep score. If the numbers were wrong, who would ever know who changed them? Dean mapped the Palisade's digital ecosystem with methodical precision over 6 weeks. The cage terminals transmitted transaction data every 90 seconds to count room servers. Count room servers compiled transaction batches every 6 minutes for internal verification. The central audit database exported comprehensive regulatory reports every 4 hours to federal monitoring systems. Each transfer point included multiple verification checksums and timestamp validation protocols. But Dean identified a critical 47-second window during overnight backup cycles when the audit server temporarily cached transaction data in unencrypted memory before federal export. The vulnerability occurred between 02:46:23 and 02:47:10 every night during automated synchronization. His first test occurred March 15th during the graveyard shift. Dean duplicated a legitimate $220 chip redemption transaction during the backup window. He inserted the duplicate entry exactly 37 seconds into the vulnerability period. The system flagged the duplicate automatically but corrected it during the following morning's reconciliation cycle. No investigation triggered. No audit trail connected the error to human intervention. Test 2 proved more ambitious. Dean deliberately altered a transaction checksum in the audit database during the backup window. The system generated an automated error alert, but couldn't identify the source of corruption. When questioned by Supervisor Victor Langford, Dean explained the discrepancy as network lag during shift change procedures. Langford accepted the technical explanation without requesting additional verification. Dean researched similar cases extensively during his preparation phase. A 2012 Las Vegas incident involved a database administrator who stole $863,000 through systematic loyalty point manipulation. The theft succeeded for 18 months because the perpetrator targeted digital records rather than physical currency. Electronic numbers proved safer than printed bills. Digital theft left fewer forensic traces than physical robbery. By April, Dean had identified 12 separate vulnerability windows across the complete audit cycle. The longest exploitation window lasted 68 seconds during the 2:30 a.m. federal backup sequence. The shortest lasted only 23 seconds during hourly verification updates. Each window offered different opportunities for transaction manipulation. FBI field report, Las Vegas office. Evidence later recovered. Network access logs showing 127 unauthorized queries across 6-week period. Dean began calculating larger theft amounts systematically. If he could interrupt the backup sequence for 60 seconds, he could modify transactions worth millions without detection. The audit server would export the altered data to federal systems as completely legitimate casino activity. He tested progressively larger amounts, 340, then 870, then $2,100, then $4,800. Each test succeeded without triggering security protocols. The pattern became unmistakably clear through repeated testing. The casino's security system trusted timing synchronization more than transaction verification. During backup windows, normal checksums were temporarily suspended. Standard validation protocols were automatically bypassed. The audit server accepted any properly formatted data that arrived within the designated synchronization period. Dean discovered additional technical details during his research phase. The mirror batch concept originated from high-frequency trading algorithms used by major investment firms. If he could delay specific transaction exports by exactly 23 seconds, he could align them perfectly with the federal backup window. The delayed transactions would appear legitimate to all monitoring systems. Dean began developing theoretical frameworks for much larger manipulation operations. He studied the casino's daily transaction volume extensively, approximately $12 million in combined chip purchases, redemptions, and gaming activity. An $8.4 million theft would represent significant but not unprecedented chip redemption activity. The amount would require detailed investigation, but wouldn't immediately suggest systematic digital fraud. He researched federal audit protocols through publicly available Gaming Commission documents. The FBI's regulatory gateway accepted transaction data during scheduled backup windows without requiring real-time verification. Manual review occurred only when automated systems flagged specific anomalies or inconsistencies. Dean realized the crucial insight that would define his entire operation. He didn't need to steal physical money from vault storage. He needed to steal temporal synchronization from digital systems. The 23-second timing offset would allow him to synchronize fraudulent transactions with legitimate federal backup procedures. Dean spent additional weeks studying surveillance camera placement and timing protocols throughout the casino floor. He discovered that security footage timestamps used a completely different network time protocol source than audit system records. The same 23-second offset that would enable the theft would also corrupt any video evidence of his activities. The storage room lights flickered once during his late-night research. Dust particles floated in the stale air. No sound except the constant hum of cooling systems and distant slot machine activity. Dean cross-referenced his findings with internal casino procedures manuals. He identified the exact moments when human oversight was minimal and automated systems operated with reduced verification protocols. The overnight shift represented optimal conditions, skeleton crew, reduced supervision, maximum reliance on automated processes. By late April, Dean had mapped every exploitable vulnerability in the casino's digital security architecture. He knew the precise moment when millions could disappear without leaving any recoverable forensic evidence. The theoretical framework was completely solid. The timing calculations were mathematically perfect. The operational risk seemed entirely manageable. But how long could mathematical precision overcome institutional surveillance systems? Dean's operational blueprint required three critical components: unauthorized system access, precise timing synchronization, and sophisticated misdirection protocols. Each element demanded meticulous preparation and flawless execution under extreme pressure. Access meant bypassing multiple layers of the audit server firewall system. Dean contacted IT contractor Ivy Callahan during a scheduled monthly system maintenance update in early May. He convinced her to extend the standard maintenance window by 40 minutes for additional cage terminal compatibility patches. Ivy possessed no knowledge of Dean's true intentions. She opened the necessary firewall access ports and logged off her administrative session immediately afterward. Timing synchronization required developing custom software to manipulate transaction export schedules. Dean created a sophisticated ghost subroutine called mirror batch, a program designed to capture legitimate transactions but delay their export to federal systems by exactly 23 seconds. He disguised the malicious code as a routine graphics driver file, nvcage.temp.dll. The file name appeared completely benign to standard security scans. The mirror batch program would capture real transaction data from cage terminals, modify specific high-value entries in computer memory, then release the altered batch during the federal backup synchronization window. To all external monitoring systems, the manipulated data would appear as completely legitimate casino transaction activity. Dean faced three critical near failures during the preparation phase that nearly exposed his entire operation. Near failure 1 occurred May 8th. A scheduled network security patch threatened to eliminate the crucial timing offset that made his attack possible. Dean submitted a falsified compatibility report claiming the security update would crash all cage terminal systems during peak gaming hours. His technical analysis appeared credible to IT management. They delayed the security update indefinitely to avoid potential revenue losses. Near failure 2 proved even more dangerous. Supervisor Victor Langford called an unscheduled financial count during Dean's testing window on May 15th. Dean had exactly 60 seconds to delete his trial mirror batch program before Langford arrived in the cage operations area. The close call forced him to completely rebuild the entire malicious subroutine from scratch using different code structures and hiding techniques. Near failure 3 occurred during Dean's final rehearsal phase. A duplicate transaction guide appeared mysteriously in batch processing records during his test run. The audit system automatically flagged the anomaly, but couldn't identify the source of the data corruption. Dean blamed electromagnetic interference from nearby slot machine banks. His technical explanation satisfied IT investigators, but they began implementing additional monitoring protocols for similar incidents. Dean planned his actual theft operation for June 11th based on optimal timing conditions. The vulnerability window would last exactly 68 seconds. Federal backup systems would accept any properly formatted data transmitted during that period without requiring additional verification or manual review. Security log, June 3rd, 23:42 p.m. Temporary maintenance driver NB cage temp DL installed successfully. Cage sector C authorization confirmed. One crucial detail Dean failed to consider during his planning phase. Surveillance cameras and audit database systems use completely different network time protocol sources for timestamp synchronization. The 23-second timing offset that enabled his theft would create an identical lag pattern in all video recording evidence, a unique forensic signature that would eventually link him directly to the crime. Dean rehearsed his complete operation 17 times using progressively larger test amounts. Each rehearsal succeeded perfectly without triggering any security alerts. The mirror batch program functioned flawlessly under all test conditions. The timing synchronization never failed or deviated from calculated parameters. Federal monitoring systems accepted every modified transaction as legitimate casino activity. He established the target escrow account using falsified Nevada Gaming Commission licenses obtained through document forgery. The account appeared completely legitimate to all standard banking verification systems. Dean created multiple backup routing protocols through 3 separate financial institutions. If the primary transfer failed, secondary and tertiary systems would continue the money laundering process automatically. Case file 21843B. Subject requested additional weekend overtime shifts during final preparation phase. Unusual pattern for 11-year employee. Dean calculated the maximum theft amount he could steal without triggering immediate federal investigation. The Palisade processed approximately $12 million in daily transaction volume across all gaming and hospitality operations. An $8.4 million discrepancy would require detailed regulatory investigation, but wouldn't immediately suggest systematic digital theft rather than accounting errors. The escape plan required identical precision and timing as the theft itself. Dean researched commercial flight schedules, airport security protocols, and international banking regulations extensively. He planned to disappear during a Phoenix airport layover, using emergency exit procedures during routine maintenance windows when surveillance cameras were offline. Dean studied surveillance blind spots throughout McCarran International Airport's security architecture. He identified a 40-second window during camera zone maintenance resets when he could exit secure areas undetected. The timing required the same mathematical precision as his theft operation. Financial preparation involved establishing cryptocurrency exchange accounts and offshore money routing protocols. Dean created multiple digital wallet addresses through untraceable servers located in Malta and Gibraltar. The stolen money would transfer through legitimate banking systems initially, then disappear completely into decentralized cryptocurrency networks. Dean's psychological preparation proved equally systematic and methodical. He practiced maintaining completely normal behavior patterns under extreme stress conditions. He rehearsed plausible explanations for potential complications or unexpected questions. He studied federal investigation procedures to anticipate likely law enforcement response protocols. Nevada Gaming Commission internal memo. Confidential routine employee background verification checks scheduled for July 2019. All cage operations, personnel included. The final variable Dean couldn't control through planning, unpredictable human behavior during the operation itself. If any casino employee deviated from standard procedural routines during his theft window, the entire carefully calculated plan would collapse immediately. But Dean believed his mathematical timing calculations could overcome minor human variables and procedural deviations. Dean spent his final preparation days studying the personal habits and behavioral patterns of all overnight shift personnel. Supervisor Victor Langford typically remained in his office reviewing paperwork. Internal auditor Naomi Fletcher conducted verification rounds every 90 minutes. Security guards followed predictable patrol routes. Cleaning staff operated on fixed schedules. He memorized the exact locations of all surveillance cameras and cage operations areas. He identified optimal body positioning to minimize facial recognition by security systems. He practiced keystrokes and mouse movements to minimize suspicious computer activity patterns. Dean established multiple contingency plans for common operational disruptions. If federal systems went offline unexpectedly, he would abort the operation. If additional personnel arrived during his window, he would delay the theft. If audit verification requests occurred during manipulation, he would provide standard technical explanations. The mirror batch program included self-destruct protocols to erase all evidence after successful completion. The malicious code would overwrite itself completely, leaving no recoverable forensic traces on casino computer systems. Dean planned to physically destroy the USB installation device immediately after the theft. By June 9th, theoretical planning had transformed into operational rehearsal. By June 11th, rehearsal would become irreversible criminal action. Every conceivable variable was mapped and controlled. Every timing window was calculated to mathematical precision. Every backup protocol was tested under simulated stress conditions. The surveillance cameras would record everything throughout the night, but Dean remained convinced the 23-second synchronization offset would render all video footage useless as incriminating evidence. What if the security cameras weren't actually disabled after all? June 11, 2019. Real-time operational sequence. 21 Desuam. Gurari. Dean Whitaker clocked in for the overnight shift using his standard employee badge. Normal operational conditions. Routine customer traffic. 47 active players distributed across the main gaming floor. Cage transaction volume appeared typical for Tuesday evening patterns. Rita Valdez worked the adjacent cashier station, processing routine chip exchanges. Supervisor Victor Langford completed his standard evening briefing in the operations office. 21-18-23. First cage transaction of Dean's shift. $340 chip redemption, submitted by middle-aged male customer wearing blue jacket. Dean processed the transaction using completely normal procedures. His hands remained perfectly steady throughout the interaction. No outward signs of nervousness or unusual behavior. Security cameras recorded standard operational protocols without detecting any anomalies. 21-32-45. Second transaction. 180 chip purchase by female customer paying with cash. Dean counted the bills twice according to standard verification procedures. All security protocols followed correctly. Surveillance systems recorded normal customer interaction patterns. 21-45-17. Dean accessed his terminal's advanced diagnostic mode during a routine operational lull between customer transactions. He confirmed the mirror batch program remained dormant in protected system memory. All preparation protocols were active and ready for deployment at the designated activation time. 22-15-39. Third cage transaction, $1,280 chip exchange requested by regular customer known to overnight staff. Dean processed the transaction normally while simultaneously monitoring network traffic patterns through diagnostic displays. The federal backup sequence would initiate automatically at 23:59, so his operational window would open precisely at 02:46:23. 22:33-12. Supervisor Victor Langford completed mandatory hourly cage count verification. No discrepancies noted in physical inventory. Cage balances matched expected totals within acceptable variance parameters. Langford signed off on the official verification report and returned to his administrative office to continue paperwork review. 22-58-44. Dean confirmed mirror batch activation parameters through encrypted diagnostic protocols. The malicious program would begin capturing and analyzing transaction data at 01:43 hour. Modify specific high-value entries during the backup vulnerability window, then release altered transaction batches to federal monitoring systems as legitimate casino activity. 23.1755. Rita Valdez processed her final transaction before shift change. Dean observed her closing procedures to ensure no operational deviations that might affect his timing calculations. All standard protocols followed correctly. 23:42:07. Dean inserted the USB installation device during a carefully timed bathroom break. The mirror batch program activated silently in system background processes. Surveillance cameras recorded him returning to his workstation after exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds. No suspicious activity detected by security monitoring personnel. 23:59. Federal backup sequence initiated automatically across all casino audit systems. Dean monitored precise timing through his terminal's diagnostic screen interface. All connected systems synchronized normally with coordinated universal time timestamps. No anomalies detected by automated monitoring protocols. 015 or 23. Routine cage operations continued without interruption. Dean processed 3 legitimate customer transactions, totaling $6,130 in combined activity. The mirror batch program remained completely dormant in system memory, waiting for the predetermined activation window to begin transaction capture protocols. 003148. Dean verified network connectivity and system performance indicators. All parameters remained within normal operational ranges. Federal monitoring gateways showed optimal connection status. Backup synchronization protocols functioning correctly. 00144.19. Rita Valdez completed her shift responsibilities and clocked out using the standard employee time system. Dean now worked alone in the primary cage operations area. Supervisor Victor Langford remained in his administrative office, reviewing quarterly compliance documentation. Show 833. Security camera zone C2 underwent routine automatic maintenance reset procedures. 18-second surveillance blind spot occurred as scheduled. Dean confirmed his operational access window remained perfectly aligned with security protocols. Timing calculations verified as mathematically precise. 01.2251. Dean processed a legitimate $890 chip redemption transaction for elderly female customer. Standard verification procedures followed completely. No deviations from established protocols detected. His pulse rate remained steady despite approaching the critical operational window for theft execution. 013544. Dean conducted final verification of mirror batch program status. All activation parameters confirmed ready. Target escrow account verified as accessible. Cryptocurrency routing protocols prepared for immediate money transfer upon completion. 0143. Russian. Audit log divergence initiated automatically. The mirror batch program began capturing and temporarily storing all legitimate transaction data flowing through cage systems. External federal monitoring systems detected no timing anomalies or synchronization discrepancies. All data appeared completely normal to automated oversight protocols. 0152-17. Internal auditor Naomi Fletcher demanded immediate live verification of cage balance totals. Unexpected complication. Dean blamed apparent delays on routine server lag issues and requested 90 seconds to clear the processing buffer manually. Fletcher waited impatiently but didn't demand additional technical explanations or escalate the verification request. Dean's pulse rate accelerated slightly for the first time during the operation. This represented the first significant unplanned variable requiring immediate improvisation. Fletcher's verification demand could potentially expose the timing manipulation if she insisted on detailed transaction-by-transaction record review. But Dean maintained complete composure and provided technically plausible explanations that satisfied her concerns. 015843. Fletcher's verification completed successfully without detecting any irregularities. Dean's technical explanation satisfied all her procedural concerns completely. She returned to her workstation without requesting additional documentation or raising suspicions about the mirror batch manipulation occurring in background system processes. 0202-15. Dean submitted the first fraudulent foreign chip redemption transaction, number 4176, into the casino's processing system. Declared value, $2.4 million. The transaction appeared completely legitimate to all local monitoring systems and passed standard verification protocols. Federal regulatory monitoring accepted the transaction data without triggering any automated fraud detection algorithms. 020538. Additional fraudulent redemption transaction, number 4177, submitted successfully. Declared value, $1.8 million. Dean's breathing patterns remained completely controlled throughout the process. His keystroke timing and mouse movement patterns maintained normal operational rhythms. No physical behavioral signs betrayed the extraordinary magnitude of his criminal actions. U2-308-52. Final fraudulent redemption transactions. November 4178 and 4177 submitted simultaneously. Declared values, $2.1 million each. Total stolen amount reached exactly $8.4 million as planned. The mirror batch program automatically routed all fraudulent transactions to Dean's pre-established escrow account through legitimate banking transfer protocols. 02 2 to 1229. Stolen funds transferred successfully through the casino's standard digital banking systems. No physical currency moved from vault storage areas. No traditional alarm systems triggered alerts. The $8.4 million existed only as altered database entries in computer memory systems. All transactions appeared legitimate to automated oversight protocols. U2 1541. Dean verified escrow account balance through encrypted remote access protocols. $8.4 million transfer confirmed as successful. All fraudulent transactions appeared as legitimate chip redemption activity to banking verification systems and federal oversight monitors. 2033. Dean experienced a brief moment of psychological doubt about the operation's unprecedented success. The theft had proceeded far too smoothly without complications. No security alerts had triggered. No human intervention had occurred. The complete absence of problems felt suspicious and potentially dangerous. 02-25-18. Supervisor Victor Langford emerged from his administrative office for routine floor inspection procedures. Dean processed a completely legitimate $450 transaction normally, while Langford observed. Standard operational protocols maintained. Langford observed normal activity patterns and returned to his office without detecting any suspicious behavior. 02-28-55. Final transfer confirmation received through secure channels. The escrow account now contained $8.4 million in apparently legitimate funds. Dean initiated systematic deletion protocols for the mirror batch program to eliminate all forensic evidence. 02-35-22. Dean systematically removed all traces of the mirror batch program from local computer systems. The malicious subroutine erased itself completely using advanced overwriting techniques, leaving no recoverable forensic evidence of the transaction manipulation process. The empty corridor stretched ahead. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. He checked his wristwatch display. 02-Y37-14. 02-46-23. Automated audit script overwrote original transaction entries as scheduled. The federal backup sequence accepted Dean's altered transaction data as completely authentic casino activity. The theft operation was now technically complete and irreversible. 02-47-10. FBI Regulatory Gateway synchronized successfully with the Palisade's audit server systems. No anomalies flagged by automated detection algorithms. The stolen $8.4 million appeared as routine, legitimate chip redemption transactions in all official regulatory records and federal oversight databases. 02-49-37. Transfer process completed successfully. $8.4 million had effectively disappeared from federal regulatory records without triggering any automated security protocols or human oversight alerts. Dean removed the USB installation device and disposed of it immediately in the employee parking lot waste container. An unannounced FBI shadow audit operated simultaneously throughout the same night, but the federal monitoring software shared identical timing offset vulnerabilities, automatically confirming Dean's forged transaction data as completely legitimate casino activity. 03-022-4. Dean Whitaker clocked out normally using standard employee procedures. He drove home in his Honda Civic sedan through empty Las Vegas streets. No physical cash had been removed from vault storage areas. Only digital code had been systematically altered in federal computer monitoring systems. 03-18-19. Dean arrived at his Henderson condo and immediately began final escape preparations. He packed a single carry-on bag containing essential items and emergency cash reserves. No large purchases, no suspicious behavioral patterns. He prepared for permanent departure as methodically as he had planned the digital theft operation. 104-33. Dean drove to McCarran International Airport. He purchased a one-way ticket to Los Angeles using cash to avoid electronic payment tracking. The ticket purchase appeared completely routine to airport security systems and federal travel monitoring databases. 04-22-15. Airport surveillance recorded Dean entering Terminal C secure area with his small carry-on bag. No unusual behavior detected by automated security systems. Standard passenger processing procedures followed correctly. When the departure gate door closed behind him, Would he ever return to Las Vegas again? Euro 6 Israeli AM automated morning reconciliation report detected critical checksum mismatch Nasher 201 PLVC across multiple transaction verification systems. The casino's internal financial databases couldn't reconcile overnight federal backup records with local transaction logs. Initial automated assessment indicated potential database corruption rather than deliberate manipulation. 06:45 a.m. Senior IT technician Marcus Chen began investigating the checksum error using standard diagnostic protocols. He discovered systematic 23-second timing discrepancies across all overnight transaction records. The precise mathematical patterns suggested deliberate systematic manipulation rather than random technical corruption or equipment failure. Row 7:30 a.m. Chen escalated the anomaly to casino management with urgent priority classification. Preliminary technical analysis revealed exactly $8.4 million in questionable chip redemption transactions. All suspicious transactions appeared completely legitimate in federal regulatory records, but couldn't be verified against corresponding local surveillance footage due to timing synchronization issues. 08:15 a.m. Casino Security Director Frank Morrison initiated comprehensive review of overnight surveillance footage. Technical specialists discovered identical 23-second lag patterns across all camera recording systems. The synchronization appeared deliberately engineered rather than accidental equipment malfunction. 08:45 a.m. Morrison contacted Nevada Gaming Control Board Emergency Hotline. The systematic timing manipulation suggested sophisticated internal knowledge of casino security protocols rather than external hacking attempts or random technical failures. 09:15 a.m. FBI Financial Crime Section, Western District Office, officially opened case ID 212488 LVC. Initial assessment expanded from suspected database corruption to potential systematic theft involving federal regulatory systems. 09:45 a.m. FBI agent Sarah Chen arrived at the Palisade for preliminary interviews. She questioned overnight shift supervisor Victor Langford extensively. He confirmed completely normal operational conditions throughout Dean Whitaker's entire shift period. 10:30 a.m. Federal investigators interviewed internal auditor Naomi Fletcher about her overnight verification procedures. She described Dean's technical explanation of server lag during her balance verification request. The timing precisely aligned with the calculated theft execution window. 11 a.m. Investigators requested comprehensive personnel files for all cage operations staff members. Dean Whitaker's 11-year employment record showed absolutely no previous anomalies, disciplinary actions, or suspicious behavioral patterns. 11:30 a.m. FBI digital forensic specialists began systematic analysis of the casino's audit server architecture. The mirror batch program had been completely erased using advanced overwriting techniques, leaving no recoverable forensic traces of modification protocols or malicious source code. 12:11 a.m. Investigators confirmed the sophisticated nature of the timing manipulation attack. The 23-second offset had synchronized video evidence timestamps with altered audit record timestamps. Both surveillance and financial systems confirmed identical falsified data. 12:45 p.m. Comprehensive surveillance review revealed no visual evidence of security breaches. No unauthorized personnel recorded in restricted operational areas. Dean Whitaker appeared to perform completely normal cage operations throughout his documented shift period. 13:20 p.m. FBI cybersecurity experts identified the network time protocol source discrepancy. Different NTP servers for surveillance and audit systems had created the exploitable timing synchronization window that enabled the sophisticated theft. 14 p.m. IT contractor Ivy Callahan interviewed and officially cleared of suspicion. She confirmed opening firewall access ports for routine maintenance procedures, but denied any knowledge of unauthorized activities. Her detailed maintenance logs completely supported her testimony. 14:45 p.m. Federal investigators attempted multiple phone contacts with Dean Whitaker. No response to calls or messages. Secondary emergency contacts confirmed he hadn't reported for his regularly scheduled shift or contacted management. 15:50 p.m. Supervisor Victor Langford suspended from duties pending completion of investigation. Internal Auditor Naomi Fletcher provided comprehensive written testimony about the previous night's operational events. She confirmed Dean's server lag technical explanation during verification procedures. FBI Field Report. Case 21-241-LVC. Comprehensive analysis revealed systematic timestamp manipulation across all available digital evidence sources. 16:30 p.m. FBI agents obtained federal search warrants for Dean's Henderson residential address. Neighbors reported observing him leaving early that morning, carrying a small suitcase but displaying no unusual behavioral patterns. 17:44 p.m. Systematic search of Dean's residence revealed completely normal living conditions. No large amounts of cash discovered. No evidence of unusual financial preparation activities or escape planning materials. June 12th, reroute. A.M. Dean Whitaker failed to report for his regularly scheduled shift. Supervisor Langford confirmed Dean had never missed work without prior notification during his entire 11-year employment history. June 12th, 10:15 a.m. FBI agents expanded investigation to include Dean's complete financial record history. Bank account activity showed normal spending patterns with no suspicious transactions or unusual account activity. June 12th, 14:30 p.m. Dean's Honda Civic sedan discovered abandoned in McCarran International Airport long-term parking area. Security surveillance footage confirmed him entering Terminal C at Aeroford 22:15 a.m., carrying a small carry-on travel bag. June 12th, 16:00 p.m. Airport records revealed cash ticket purchase to Los Angeles under Dean's authentic identity. Flight 1247, scheduled departure, 05:45 hours a.m. Gate agents confirmed successful boarding through standard passenger verification procedures. June 12th, 18:45 p.m. Los Angeles International Airport Security reported no arrival documentation for Dean Whitaker. Flight manifest records confirmed his boarding in Las Vegas, but no corresponding arrival processing documentation. June 13th, federal investigation expanded to include potential identity fraud and interstate flight charges. Dean had apparently exited the aircraft during the scheduled Phoenix stopover using undetermined methods. June 15th, Nevada Gaming Control Board issued official alert NGB-AUD 190621. Federal task force expanded investigation scope to include customs and immigration enforcement agencies. June 18th, Phoenix Airport surveillance analysis revealed Dean leaving the secure area during routine maintenance procedures. He exploited emergency exit protocols during scheduled camera zone maintenance reset periods. June 22nd, the escrow account systematically emptied through multiple cryptocurrency exchange platforms. Transaction routing passed through servers located in Malta, Gibraltar, and Singapore. Digital money trail terminated at completely untraceable decentralized wallet addresses. June 24th, FBI traced cryptocurrency transaction patterns through multiple international exchange platforms. Final destination, decentralized blockchain networks with no regulatory oversight mechanisms or asset recovery capabilities. July this sitting, international cooperation requests submitted to European banking regulatory authorities. Malta's Financial Regulatory Board reported no existing cooperation agreements for cryptocurrency investigation assistance. July 8th, FBI officially closed active investigation phase. Dean Whitaker remained classified as federal fugitive. Case file remained open but transferred to inactive status pending new evidence discovery. Financial analysts estimated total asset recovery potential, $0. Case file 21-2418 LVC. Investigation remains officially active with no ongoing leads. Federal investigators later confirmed the theft represented the most sophisticated digital manipulation in Nevada gaming regulatory history. The 23-second timing offset became a unique forensic signature, studied extensively by federal cybersecurity specialists. The Palisade Resort and Casino implemented comprehensive new audit protocols requiring multiple network time protocol sources and mandatory real-time verification systems. Similar casino operations across Nevada voluntarily upgraded their security architecture to prevent timing-based manipulation attacks. Multiple federal agencies revised cybersecurity protocols for financial monitoring systems. The case became required study material for FBI cybercrime investigation training programs. Nevada Gaming Commission final report. Confidential, systematic vulnerabilities identified in federal audit synchronization protocols affect multiple casino operations statewide. Dean Whitaker's employee records were sealed by federal order. His Henderson condo remained under federal surveillance for 6 months before being released to estate administrators. The $8.4 million never reappeared in any trackable financial system. Cryptocurrency forensic specialists confirmed the funds had been completely laundered through decentralized networks beyond recovery capabilities. International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol notice, Dean Robert Whitaker, wanted for federal wire fraud, computer intrusion, and interstate flight to avoid prosecution. No credible sightings or communications from Dean Whitaker were ever confirmed by federal authorities. Case 21-2D418 LVC remains the largest unsolved casino theft in FBI records.